Happy Thursday, everyone. Today is October the 12th. What is October the 12th? It's the release of this beautiful Pixel 8 Pro. We're gonna do an unboxing of this. We're gonna talk about some technology within this bad boy. But hey, if you don't mind, hit subscribe on my button. I can use all the help I can get. If you like my video content, if you don't like it, hey, you can subscribe anyways. I do not discriminate here. So please, hit subscribe, help me out. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm trying to get the truth out there. I'm trying to just get raw. Nobody buys my ads, which hey, I don't even have enough subscribers to even buy my ads, but never will I sell unless they like D-brand buy where they're gonna influence me doing stuff. And I'm never gonna do like a Pixel thing wearing like a Apple Watch Ultra, you know, I say, hey, you know what, I love Pixel since day one, and here I am all dressed out in Apple. Doesn't work that way, but I do love both technology, iPhone and Google. So, hey, I struggle between which one I want to use. But today we're going to talk about this, the unboxing of the Pixel 8 Pro. We're going to actually go in through the technology, why is this different? And this may be, I don't know, you know, Apple came out with a new iPhone on June 29th of 2007. And since then it has taken the market, has taken shares from everybody. You know, back in the day you had HTC, you had Motorola, those were the big hitters, and all of a sudden now they shift, and those are like non-existent now. They still have their technology, but they're like smaller markets. iPhone has almost 60% of the market in the US. They dominate. You hear me in my videos, I'll talk about people talking about blue bubbles and how they want Apple to change, and the question is why? When you own the market, you don't. But is this the Pixel 8 Pro the iPhone slayer? I don't know. It could be. Like, this is the first time Google actually came out and like hit some good points with their phone. And you know, some of the Pixel people be like, oh, you're just a hater. No, see, like, no Apple Watch, no Google Watch. I got nothing on right now. I'm coming to you just raw and blind. Well, maybe not blind. I'm just coming to you raw and live. How's that? So here's the unboxing. This is gonna be the Bay Blue. And the Bay Blue is, I do like the blues more than anything else. I love how Google comes out with different colors. iPhone stays very generic. They don't really go out there and put themselves out there. Why Google's always doing something fresh and live. The other cool thing about Google, I'll give them a little plug right now, and again, they do not pay me for this, is, you know, if you subscribe to the Google One plan and you buy anything on the store.google.com, they give you 10% back. Not counting they do all these little neat things, like for the 25th anniversary, they gave out these little tote bags. Do you want a tote bag? I don't know. But you know what? Hey, if you order something, you got one of these bad boys. Would you put your phone in there? Maybe. I don't know. But hey, the cool thing is they give back to the community. Name one time Apple's given anything. If you're a Pixel super fan, they're constantly giving away free prizes. They had the Pixel Fold 50th Hip Hop Edition. They only gave those out. You couldn't even buy it. You know how many people would have bought that if they would have sold it? I mean, those are going on I've seen them anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000. People are trying to sell the ones they got. Don't know why. If you got it for free, why you should be selling it? But hey, profit. But let's get back to this bad boy. So this is the blue. You know what? This is a nice looking blue. It's a beautiful phone. So in the box, you got this wonderful box that, hey, you know what? It looks the same as last year. Spoiler alert. Got the phone. You got the USB-C charger. You got the USB to USB-C adapter. They give you this little thing, and you know what's in here? If you're an iPhone user, you might be shocked. Oh my gosh, what is this bad boy? This is an eSIM. Why? Do we know why? Yes, we do. Because what's this right here? This is the eSIM. This phone still has eSIM. Because if you travel international, sometimes it's easier to pop a eSIM, or not, I don't know, I keep saying eSIM. And I'm not gonna go back and cut this, because like I said, my video's wrong. But a physical SIM, not eSIM, physical SIM, correcting myself, so everybody can laugh at me. If you're going international, you can pick up a physical SIM in a lot of airports, pop it in there, and now you have access to that. A lot of carriers now, if you're on T-Mobile, you can almost hit any country and have connectivity. But in the box, you're gonna get the USB-C cable, the USB to USB-C adapter, and you're gonna get that lovely physical SIM remover. Stand there. And we're gonna turn this on. You know, Google has all the makings to be one of the best I don't know why I'm about to say iPhone. See, it's crazy. But Google has the makings to be one of the best phone manufacturers out there in the world. But they always stop themselves short. Why? Because they rely on their AI, their software. And by far, their AI is more advanced than almost any other company out there. They do drive that. They are the experts at that, or one of the top experts, however you want to say it. But their phones always fall short because they actually scam on some hardware, but not this one. This one comes with a Google Tensor G3 chip, which don't know how to perform because it's their new release. Why, we're gonna compare this to iPhone 15 Pro. It has an A7 Pro chip, that's their newest chip. So performance-wise, haven't really tested out the two, so I can't see the difference. This one has 12 gigs of RAM, and it comes with a 128, 256, 512, or 1 terabyte, while your iPhone 15 Pro has 256 and 512 gigabyte and 1 terabyte. So the only difference is you can still get the 28 gigabyte, the 15 Pro Max. They actually got rid of that at the Apple. They're pushing everybody up to higher if you're buying the bigger phone. The battery on this thing, 50.50 milliamps, 44.22 on iPhone. Traditionally, iPhones do run better on power than any Android. iPhones do become has always been a little bit more efficient. They last longer. If you've used both of them, you always squeeze a little bit more time doing the same thing out of an iPhone. This one has a 30 watt wired. So right here, 30 watt wired, and 23 watts of wireless charging. What does the iPhone 15 Pro Max have? 27 watts of wired, so 3 less, and then up to 15 watts of wireless. This thing is gonna charge faster, and if you buy the Google charger, you know what? You're gonna get that 23 watts. There's a bunch of out there off-brands or other manufacturers that make chargers. They're 23 watts. Between the two phones, between this and the iPhone, 6.7 inches, no big change. The resolution is 1344 by 2992 resolution. The iPhone's gonna be 1290 by 2796. So this is gonna have a little bit better resolution, a little bit tighter pics. This is an LTPO OLED display, while your iPhone has a Super Retina XDR. 489 pixel per unit, so they call this PPU, and iPhone does the pixel per inch, so PPI, which is 481. You can go Google it. I'm not going to go explain and make this video between the difference between the two. Both have a smooth, this one has a smooth display. It goes up to 120 megahertz. iPhone also goes up to 120 megahertz. Now here's where Google starts taking the lead. And again, I don't know, is this the iPhone killer? I don't know. Could it slay the iPhone? Can it get in there? Only time will tell. But this one has up to 1600 nits and up to 2400 nits of peak brightness. So the 1600 nits is HDR, the 24 nits is going to be 2400 nits is peak brightness. While the iPhone is up to 1600, so those are going to be on par with HDR, but the iPhone only goes up to 2000 nits peak brightness. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't even know what nits are. Basically, it's how bright the screen will go. This thing's going to go basically almost, so you know, about another 20% brighter almost. It will actually will go 20% brighter than what the iPhone will go. So when you're looking at that, it's going to be brighter. So when you're out in the sun, it's hard to see. This is where this phone could really make a difference in your life. They both have HDR support between this and the iPhone. No big thing. But here we go. You ready for this? This phone, this is where the phone starts kicking the living, you know what, out of your iPhone. 50 megapixel quad PD wide camera. That's gonna be the main camera on this bad boy. What's the iPhone? 48. Oh, that's not a big difference. 48, 50, who knows? But here's where it starts getting a little bit more interesting. You got a 48 megapixel quad PD ultra wide camera with autofocus. What does the iPhone have? 12 megapixel ultra wide. So you got 12 versus 48. That's a pretty big difference. You also have your third camera on the back is gonna be a 48 megapixel quad PD telephoto camera. What's the iPhone have? 12 megapixels. So this has a 50, 48, 48 on this rear camera. iPhone 48, 12, 12. Now, if you've ever went to a concert and you tried to zoom in and you're sitting back, I've actually taken my 14 Pro Max versus the Pixel 7 Pro, and guess what? Taking pictures, I had to put the iPhone back in my pocket because they were so grainy when I zoomed in when I maxed out, and it just couldn't work, so I had to stick with my Pixel the entire time. So now this thing has 50, 48, 48. Can't wait to get out there and test it on the true zoom and see what you really get. But spec-wise, this should crush the iPhone. Those are just facts. Hardware to hardware is kicking it. The software, the enhancements, oh, iPhone has never been able to compete with that. Now, you got the front camera right here. Got the little dot. You know, some people still get upset about this little hole, but hey, it's a 10.5 megapixel dual PD selfie camera. iPhone has a 12 megapixel, so by far, this should be a lot better also. Don't know because I haven't tested it, the phone just came in. And then you start looking at dimensions. Like what's the dimensions on this versus the iPhone? This is 6.4 inches high, 3 inches wide, it's 0.3 in depth, and it weighs 7.5 ounces. Wow, it's a pretty light phone, right? What's the iPhone? 6.29. So the iPhone is just a tad shorter. It's 3.02 on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This one's 3 inches, so this one's gonna be just barely, just a 0.02 with smaller. The iPhone's gonna be 0.32, this one's 0.3, so this one's actually a little bit skinnier. The iPhone was 7.81 ounces. If you've ever picked up the new 15 Pro Max and played with it, compared to the 14 Pro Max, there's a huge weight difference. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's like almost like what, 0.9 ounces? And yeah, you're like, oh, 0.9 ounces doesn't mean anything. What are you, weak? Is 60 grit weak? I don't know, it might be. I don't know. But no, 0.9 is not much, but when you pick them up side by side and you hold them, that's when you really notice the difference. So anyways, Pixel 8 Pro, Bay Blue, beautiful, beautiful phone, look at that. Let me know what you think. But if you are an iPhone user, and I'll be honest, I use iPhone a lot, and I always go from Android to iPhone, and what always pulls me back is just iPhone's a little bit more polished. Not counting some of the things where Google relying on so much of its software to make up for its lack of hardware. You know, you see the shortcuts, everything. Like every time you plug in, you know, like the 07 Pro, you plug in your charger, I would get this like rainbow effect going up. Happened every single time, not just on one. And I actually had multiple 7 Pros that I've tested out, over 10 of those. They all had the same features. So if you say Dave, or I'm sorry, 60 grit, because it ain't Dave on this thing, it's all 60 grit. But Dave is my real name. Can't say, hey, well, that's just your one phone. My Pixel never does that. No, you know what? Test out 10 Pixels and all of them have the same problem. Guess what? It's a Pixel problem. So I haven't tested that for them out. But I will get this phone set up. I am gonna start using this phone. I will give you my feedback and my honest opinion. I am gonna follow up on this video and give you my true take. But looking at the specs and what Google did on this phone, definitely looks like they can come and tackle. I mean, don't get me wrong. Google owns like 2% of the market share. So they go sell double the phones. Guess what? They're at like 4%, which when you're at almost, you know, when you're in the mid 50s on the iPhone, what's 4%? It's nothing in the market. But for where Google needs to go, Google has to start delivering a top quality product that's easy to use, that's simple for business people to use and our younger generation and everything. Because I mean, let's be honest. If you're buying a phone for your grandma, what are you buying? We all know what the answer is. It's not Android. You buy a phone for your mom, you're buying her an iPhone. Why? Because it's simple to use, and that 70, 80, 90-year-old woman can use the iPhone, and it's so simple. I get it. But in order for any company to truly be challenged, we need to have multiple manufacturers competing. Otherwise, it starts getting lopsided, and then they start slowing down. And when the iPhone came out June 29th of 2007, it changed the market. We all know that. It changed how people are using the phone. It changed everything. And they've been leading ever since. They've been taking shares left and right and just dominating the market. Well, now it's time for Google to start taking back. And maybe they get a couple extra percent this year. Maybe next year they get more, but when you start chipping away at a giant, eventually start taking the market shares. And if you know anything about the chip makers for AI computers, you got Intel, which has always been the beast that actually has taken the market. And now, guess what? AMD, after many years, are now chipping away and are taking more and more percent of that market share on that. Google, spec-wise, you did amazing. I will test this phone out, but you gotta keep doing stuff like this. Stop trying to cut corners. You wanna change the market. You want to be more relevant. And let's be honest, 2% ain't relevant. Everybody that has a Pixel phone, I'm sorry, you're 2% of the market. It doesn't really matter in market share. Nobody cares about the 2%. Nobody cares about 3%. But Google, you did great. I like it. I may call this the iPhone Slayer. Could it be the iPhone killer? Everybody's gonna laugh at me like, oh, 2%, it can't be no iPhone killer. You know what my iPhone does, and I got blue bubbles. Maybe not. But you know what? This is a start to something great. So stay tuned. Give me 14 days. I'm gonna test this bad boy out, give you my honest take at the end, and we're gonna see where we go. Thanks. Have a great day.